Pastor Mark? Pastor Mark, where are you?
Mark, my husband?
Pastor Mark.
Mark.
Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Sabes dónde está el Mark? No? Vale, gracias. It's almost like Pastor Mark is running away from his responsibilities. Oh!
Hi, this message is for Mark, my husband, and/or his mistress.
What did she say?
Puma, did you hear that?
I know you guys still watch my TikTok, so if that's not you, you can keep scrolling. You don't have to listen to this.
No, I'm gonna stay right here. I'm gonna listen. I'm not your husband. I'm not his mistress, but I'm gonna stay right here.
Hey, husband, if you could help our 6 children, they need new winter coats and boots for this upcoming winter. If you wanted to help me with that, that would be wonderful. Also, our 10-year-old still needs his braces to help with his speech problem. If you could help me with that, that would be wonderful. My attorney will have their sizes. I know you don't know that. I've been working hard to keep the lights on and food in the house for them since you left me with nothing. For the Christian marriage counselor you met on here, you know, when you open your Bible, God does not look too kindly on men that do not provide for their household or their children. I was only 13 when we met, and you got me pregnant at 14 and continued to get me pregnant, telling me I didn't have a choice to say no.
Oh my God! Make this stop it!
Or God would punish me, so I didn't really have an option.
Oh my goodness!
If you could help me with that, that would be so wonderful and kind of you. I know you're busy preaching here on TikTok.
Hell no, man.
But our children really could use the help.
Pastor Mark is so busy preaching on TikTok, he forgot he'd abandoned his wife and his 6 kids. Let me just sit down real quick. I need to sit down. Y'all, we've seen bad before, but this goes beyond bad. Mama J has been through it. In today's video, she's going to
Spill it all.
This story may or may not be worse than Risa Tisa's bestie. This one's a train wreck. Just gonna make some tea. We've got Mama J, Darian, Pastor Mark, Susan Avery. Even an innocent Susan Avery that shares the mistress's name got unfairly dragged into this mess.
This is just a beautiful soul that was so kind.
Which goes to show, don't go looking for these people.
Mark,
You'll end up coming for somebody innocent. Innocent is not Pastor Mark. The tea's ready. Oh my God.
I'm done letting him get away with everything he's done to me, and him being portrayed and trying to make himself to be a prophet of the Lord, because that's not what he is. I also have to be careful because there is going to be court involved. So my number one job is to protect my children.
He wasn't listening to Mama J, all right? He wasn't giving Mama J what he owed her and their kids. So she took to the internet out of desperation and frustration. Maybe if he wasn't listening to her, he'd listen to all of us. As she said, he does watch her TikToks, and so does his mistress, the marriage counselor, Susan Avery.
She wasn't just gonna sit there and take it.
His mistress has made some videos in response, lying that they are giving me $400 to $900 a week in child support, which is hilarious.
So Pastor Mark had run away with her.
In the middle of September, a week after he met her online.
The marriage counselor, Susan Avery, who goes by the Daughter of God on her TikTok, ironically 4 months prior to running away with this lady's husband. Susan posts this TikTok about morals.
These days, there's so many men and women running around behind their partners' backs.
Oh, is that so?
And you took one. Regardless, one of the many major issues in this conflict is the child support that he owes. The child support that he has failed to provide. It is what led her to publicize this entire disaster. So, Susan takes to the internet, shows us screenshots of some deposits he's made. Apparently, he's made a deposit. So, now, TikTok is the channel of communication between these parties, these warring parties. Mama J sees that TikTok. The deposit has been made, supposedly.
He was putting money into our joint account and then taking money out. I didn't realize at first that he was even putting money in there.
So when she realized that there was money going into that joint account, she'd immediately jumped into the car, ran over to pump some gas, where she had only managed to pump 27 cents of gas before the pump stops working. She's like, what the is going on? She checks. Not the time. I don't know why I'm looking at my watch that doesn't exist.
He would put money in, he'd pull money out just to, I guess, toy with me. I don't know.
Apparently, this was what he would regularly do. He'd try and make it seem that he is providing child support for the statements, the bank statements. I don't think he realized that, if you put money in, it shows, yes. But it also shows if you take it out. Pastor Mark! Okay, so, not the brightest, this one. He's not the brightest.
So update time. I'm at the bank. I just got done, but I am pretty surprised. Mark deposited $430 into our joint account.
$430 Mark deposited. How much is that enough for? 6 kids, all right?
It's definitely not the $900 a week that you and your mistress were claiming to give me.
Eventually, through his attorney, they had reached an agreement. He ought to pay 40% of his income. Remember, 40%.
He was a truck driver, and he would bring home anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 a week.
That's a pretty solid, okay, irrelevant, but nice. What's 40% of $1,200 to $1,500? I don't know, about $500 or $600, which happens to be the exact same number that he has claimed to be making, mind you. This is now suddenly his entire income, after he ran off with their marriage counselor, Susan Avery. Man just wants to do the most, not to care for his children. Of course, Mama J is distraught by this.
I don't want to be considered a victim in this situation. The victims in this situation are my 6 children. Those are the victims in this situation because they didn't get a choice in who their parents were. I made the choices that led me to where I am right now.
Mama J, no, it's not your fault. It's not your fault this dude's an asshole. And it's definitely not your fault when you were grew into this relationship. Mama J, oh my goodness. What a sweet soul she has, this lady. She was a kid, definitely. I'm not the only one outraged. Everybody outside is flipping. Oh, let me tell you the details. He was 19, she was 13. Okay, glad to know you're sane, because you gasped. And apparently they had 6 kids that she had no say in, apparently, which sounds extremely problematic to me. It doesn't sound, it is problematic. Jail, that doesn't sound legal to me. And she has confirmed that it is not legal.
If he could be charged and in trouble for having with me when I was 13 and he was 19, and the answer is yes. There's no statute of limitations for that where I live.
But let's say, in a hypothetical world, we were the mistress. We were in the dark. He's the evil. He was lying all this time to us, telling us, feeding us lies, and we were believing them because we were brainwashed, like Susan Avery. She hates injustice.
I really hate injustice so bad.
She's brought to tears by injustice. Susan Avery.
People nearest know that she is, and they're like calling her evil now because they know that she's lying. I'm done arguing with the devil.
Evil! She's called her evil before, and we hear the story, and it's like, she's clearly a victim, Mama J. Any 13-year-old gets in a relationship, ends up popping kids until they're 15, 6 kids with someone who's 19. Obviously, they're a victim. We don't even need to talk about it. No. Not in Susan's mind. She actually went the other way. She tried to justify it. She said,
Normal teenage stuff. Everybody wants to criminalize it. No, it's not like that. And he's not a predator like that. You don't know him.
You don't know him like I do. Enter Darian, Mama J's cousin and best friend. What's that? Mugshot.
The state of Michigan says otherwise.
So, what is it, Susan? Your word against the state of Michigan? Apparently he had already been convicted. For this, yes.
About Mark, I really get it. You know, he's very good. He's very good at what he does, and that's manipulating and lying to the people in his life. Because, you know, you want to sit here and claim that he doesn't even know what is, but a simple Google search will show you this.
This one's about him. Airman gets 12 months in, oh my God. Mark Jordan sentenced to the maximum allowed under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Oh my goodness. He met her when she texted an incorrect text. He replied, I'm 19, I win. He showed her to teach her about things. It's just absolutely repulsive. Jordan and his mother paid the girl $500 a month out of his Air Force pay for almost a year in exchange for her claiming publicly that she didn't know who the father was. The father of the kid that he made her have.
But Susie, your math ain't mathin' for you, girl, because you've been spouting to everybody that Jarrett was 15 when they started getting together. And 15 years they were together, so 15 plus 15, that would make Jarrett 30. Do you know how old Jarrett turned in September? She turned 30. But I thought they haven't been together for a few years, right? Right? Or is it the fact that he actually did start sleeping with her when she was 13? The state of Michigan says he did.
Oh, wait, said Susan. Susan got real mad. All of this is happening because he doesn't want to support her kids. They've been together a long time. She's 30 now. He had suddenly disappeared and left with the mistress.
And just because the enemy sent a false spouse to Mark doesn't make her his real spouse. And I don't care if you guys want to agree with this or not.
I am his ordained wife, and she's not going to stay in my place.
Despite all this shit that he's got on him, Susan Avery, his mistress, and him decide to fight back. They don't want to give the child support that they owe. They don't want to even give her grace. They don't even want to give her peace.
They've been threatening my family, trying to delete evidence, just doing a lot of horrible stuff.
They tried to do the most. They tried to take her house. The house that her family owns. Her brother and her mother had paid for it.
Mark didn't pay a dime for that house. He didn't pay a dime for the house he's lived in for the past, 7 years? 6 years?
It is not part of the divorce proceedings whatsoever, but only to cause her discomfort for outing him so publicly. Only to hurt her in any way he could.
Susie, remember that one time that you and Mark showed up to Jarrett's brother's house and there wasn't anyone home that you could harass, so you guys proceeded to call a wellness check on Jarrett and the kids as an intimidation tactic?
They would be threatening, and then they laid claim on the house.
Mark signed a prenup saying that he has no rights to that house.
Mark, you signed a prenup, sweetie. It's not your house. Get those nasty hands off the house. You know where your house is. Apparently, to think he's preaching right now. That creature is preaching. Oh, Lord. All right. Anyway, so yes, tried to come for her house. Good thing Darian here. She got the receipts. Embarrassing. Embarrassing for all of you.
Susie, ask Mark how many times he stayed in that house. How many nights? Right? No? Yeah, it's 0. None. Nada. Zip. That house was bought for Jarrett's brother. You know that. Mark knows that.
So there's this little text exchange she's also got that shows Mark handing over any kind of titles he's got, okay, through the paperwork. He's got nothing to do with the house. That's what these texts tell us. But all of a sudden, I hear this. You know that meme?
Tell Juliet to cease and desist on all legal actions, including an order of protection against me, or I will be forced to evict you and all tenants and take possession of my home.
My home. He's hallucinating again. Nurse, come get this one. The patient's on the run again. He's just throwing empty threats at them. He's like,
Stop making me out to be the bad guy that I am, or I'll throw you in the streets.
Figuratively, because I can't do it legally.
You're being hypocrites because you guys are sending them threats, which Jarrett and I have never asked you to do. And they would never show up at anyone's house threatening anything. I guess now, because I do have this in your handwriting, Suze, the day you showed up at Jarrett's brother's house.
Apparently, there was this note from Mark. This serves as a 24-hour notice for inspection. We will arrive tomorrow, October blah 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 at 5 p.m. to inspect the property and assess all damage. Failure to comply will force a court order and further court action. Your compliance is appreciated. Reason? Noticeable exterior damage. Remember, they would show up to the house to try and intimidate them because they're trying to take their house. This is a handwritten notice by Mark. Supposedly. Mark wrote this? No.
I know Mark's handwriting. I was with him for 16 and a half years. And those notes, that wasn't his handwriting.
Susan, that was your handwriting. So it's crazy to me, the evil person that he is. He's got this crazy cheerleader, you know, cheering him on.
I can't believe she would do this to me. I'm gonna take her house and throw her in the streets.
Yes, and her kids too, right?
My kids too? Okay, yeah, I guess so. Them too.
I will help you. I'll write the note for you.
Of course, this note has zero enforceability, zero legal value, because he's transferred his title to her brother. He is not, in any way or form, any kind of authority over this house. And suddenly, in a miraculous change of events, logic and reason land into Susan's brain. Something happens in the way her brain clicks. All of a sudden, she goes from waging full war into issuing a teary-eyed apology. Remember, she hates injustice!
I really hate injustice so bad.
She says she'll break up with him, and then she deletes that video because reason and logic left her brain.
I have seen the apology video that Susie posted directed towards me. I'm reading that she's since deleted it.
She tries to become a victim, where she starts talking about how she's being chased down and hunted.
I literally just had someone pull up in front of my truck with their SUV, with their headlights shining in my truck, watching me. None of this bickering back and forth is worth anybody's life. None of this should have been put out there.
Why are we turning into the internet? Why are we going against one another on the internet, she wonders. I don't know, it's Susan. You tell me. This wasn't even about you. It was about her kids getting what they deserve, what they're owed. You didn't want that, did you? But whatever.
Honestly, if she wasn't trying to argue, she would have just, contacted me.
Well, evidently, from all the thousands of messages we have seen, the receipts, her going online was her last resort. She wasn't getting any money from you guys. She has 6 kids to raise on her own. Let's not blame her for taking this online. If you had a single shred of reason, of responsibility, of empathy, you would not have led this lady to the circumstance she is in, where she had to go online and hang out all y'all's dirty laundry for all of us to see.
I'm done with arguing with them. They can argue with themselves. They can say whatever. They can make me look like a mistress, an adulteress. They can make me look like however they want to make me look.
But by definition, you can make me look like I'm wearing gray right now. You can make me look like I'm wearing sweatpants. You can make me look like I'm wearing socks. You can make me look like that does not change the truth that all those things are true.
The proof is out there, and I don't care who says what.
I'm done arguing with the devil.
And I'm not calling them the devil, but
They're being used and they don't even realize it.
That's so ironic to hear. Oh my goodness. Susan. This is for you, Susan. This is for you.
I have decided I am going to stay with Mark. God did ordain us. God has given me lots of confirmations. Oh, I just have to be careful. There's so much I want to say, I can't. But it doesn't matter. Honestly, I'm going to get back to worshiping my Father and walking right with Him.
I think she's trying to say that she has a lot more shit she wants to spew about Mama J that she can't for legal reasons, apparently. So, she doesn't do the reasonable thing, of course. Susan, after her apology where she wanted to leave him, remember? She's changed her mind. She's like,
never mind, y'all were trying to guide me off the right path. This is the right path.
She convinces herself that all of this is a test from God.
God has been using us to perform His miracles to testify of Himself. That is why this launch against us is so bad, is because the miracle is actually taking place.
God is testing her, in this very difficult situation. Here's another interpretation. Susan, God is trying to help you. Help you move away from a bad man by showing you how bad he is. How about that? That could be it too, right? And then Susan, in her victim era, starts playing the sons card.
I have 2 sons. He's got 6 kids. If you guys were to do anything to us, it would devastate our children.
She has 2 sons. He has 6 kids, right? The ones he didn't want to provide for. Hence, we are here, right? Let's go back to square one. Remember what started this whole thing, Susan? What's going on? We hit our head? Or is it the neuron separation we're suffering from?
I have sons. I have kids.
Great. It's good for you. So you should have stayed out of it, right? Well, she goes from that, jumps ship again, back on the attack. I was like, what the is talktome.com? Quick Google search, talktome.com. I'm sorry, is that like a phone site? Be for real. Be so for real. She was running out of ideas on how to turn the tables, so I guess she just thought this was a good idea. She was so proud of herself when she did that, when she posted those.
So I just posted a video about showing her employer like an email from her employer that she had in 2018 when she was prostituting herself.
You'd already committed adultery how many times before? How many times before, girl? Come on now.
Of course, Darian didn't let that one slide, her bestie.
Suze, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know how to rebuttal the most ludicrous nonsense. Truly, I did not think that Mark would come this low, but I mean, I guess it doesn't surprise me, if you will. Honey, that looks like a spam email. And you're saying that's from her employer. And it literally says from Jarrett to me at the top of the email, guys, look.
Oh shit, what? Oh my god, that is mortifying.
Susie, I just enjoyed like the little tidbit of you circling her name and saying that her name was intentionally misspelled to like make it look like she was being shady. And I'm so excited to get to be the one to tell you that that email was made by Mark for baby Jarrett at 13. It was her first email account, and the idiot misspelled her name.
Oh my goodness, wait, what? Because he loves his wife so very much, he misspelled her name. When was this email from? All right, July 2018.
Here is what happened in 2018, or apparently our version. Mark and Jarrett got married in May. Here is that. Then here is a picture of her mother standing up at the altar with her, with their 4th son, that she just had given birth to.
It took her 1 month since then to hoe it out on the internet on talktome.com. Apparently it's bullshit. That's the address on the email from Jarrett to Susie. Jarrett's email that he made. 2018, July. Chances are, here's a crazy theory, chances are he was the one hoeing it out on talktome.com. He was the one having fun with the ladies. Not her. Susan has many takes.
Do you remember yesterday when you publicly threatened Jarrett and myself on your platform? Remember? I know you deleted it.
She's thankfully deleted most of them. One of them, where she had called Mama J a for having with him when she was 13 and he was 19.
I thought this was normal teenage stuff.
Normal teenage stuff. Everybody wants to criminalize it. No, it's not like that. And he's not a predator like that.
So he's not a girl, right? I see. Daughter of God. Susan, you have a lot of repenting to do for the shit you've said about Mama J. She goes, coming at me hard for someone who opened her legs for my husband after 1 week of talking. Don't worry, I don't want him back. He's all yours. So people in the comments were quoting something Susan had said in her takes. Susan said,
We've all dated older men when we were 13.
I'm sorry, who's we? Who? What do you mean we've all dated? No. I about fell out when she said,
She's a liar. She wasn't 13. She was 15.
As if that's somehow better. They're trying to make her life a living hell. She posts this captioned, he knows the things he's done to me and what he's put our family through. She also knows that she's lying. She started speaking with him in the middle of September to offer marriage counseling for us. Because apparently she'd said,
I'm not a homewrecker. They were separated for a few years. She did not want to get She did not want to work on the marriage.
Why do you step in for marriage counseling if they've been separated? Girl, the only thing separated are your neurons.
Dret hasn't wanted to work on the marriage, and they haven't been together for a few years now, so okay. But real quick, what is this? That says August 6, 2022. That's your man. Comforting his wife while she's in labor with their youngest child. But maybe 2.5 years is just too far off. Okay, Susie, what about that? That says July 5th. There's no year though, so that means that's the current year. So that was our family's 4th of July party this year.
That's 2 months before September when he ran away with you, Susan. Listen, with that many receipts, I would have just shut my mouth, dug a hole, lay there until the world forgot about me for the shit that I decided to stir. Susan, it's not even funny. It's not even funny.
As a matter of fact, Susie, your man was in attendance to family parties until about the end of August of this year.
The end of August, right? What comes after August? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September! That's the month y'all ran off together. Oh! She started speaking with him in the middle of September to offer marriage counseling for us. I don't wish badly for him or her, of course, because Mama J has got a lot of grace. I pray he gets help. I ask for help forgiving him every day. I'm not gonna let these past 16 years make my heart hateful. Stop the lies and threats, Mark. And she shared a few of her chats with him. This is September, mid-September, where he had run off with the marriage counselor.
He says, I don't understand why I did the things I did, but I do grasp how wrong I was and how bad I did you. I just have a feeling I'm going to get it back by God for what I did to you.
This is why I'm texting you, by the way. It's not because I actually care about you or I feel bad. If you mean that, then make the lifelong commitment to do better for our family and yourself and always receive the help you need. I could never speak to someone who did me that dirty the way she's speaking to him. Don't trick yourself to go off the rails anymore. You don't need to get anything negative back. You just need to make it right and maintain it. Girl, how are you so strong, Mama J? And then he goes,
I'm proud of you too, for surviving everything that happened.
I'm proud of you for surviving me is crazy. Boy, just get out of here. You helped save me, and I'm proud of you that you accomplished so much and are an awesome mom and wife. I love you. Just finished washing truck parked next to the blue beacon for the night, heating up water for noodles. Then he sends her a random link, a random text he had sent, apparently a psychologist, saying that because he was ill, he was, creating these issues, these problems. All this, Susan isn't part of the picture yet, the mistress, all right? They have problems, clearly, but Susan hasn't surfaced yet. September 13, she asks him to wish her son and his son a happy birthday. Breaks my heart that she's asking her husband and father of her son to wish him a happy birthday. He ignores that text, and one day later he says,
Hey, I have a marriage counselor Christian couple that wants to speak with both of us on the phone in a group call to help our marriage.
Cue Susan Avery.
Would you be willing to talk to them with me, pretty soon today?
Yes, but I can't today.
Please, it's very important. They're ready to talk with us both in a group call to help us.
Plan a different day. I'm getting ready for your son's birthday party!
Okay, thank you, Jariet. I'll call them.
Birthday! Did it still not occur to you to wish your son a happy birthday after it's been mentioned 5 times? No, it didn't. It didn't occur to him. He was just so infatuated by Susan. Jesus. That is a sin on itself. What a disaster of a father this is.
And then in September, when we had a joint birthday party for his wife's 30th, as well as one of his sons, he absolutely obliterated that one because he got back from work early and was at the yard and threw a hissy fit until someone came and picked him up. Who was that someone? It was Jarette. Jarette left her own birthday party early. And then coincidentally, I remember that birthday party the most because we were all so disgusted by Mark's behavior because he A, made his wife and son leave their birthday parties early, and B, never bothered to call or even say happy birthday to his wife or son.
Right. That birthday. The one we were just reading the texts for. The one where he was trying so hard to push you, Susan, into their lives during, right? That's the hissy fit he threw.
Please, it's gotta happen. No, no, now.
He was just so excited to save their marriage with you, Susan. Y'all, can y'all be for real? You wanna lie? Lie. No, really, lie. But at least have a little bit of respect for people's cognitive abilities to connect the dots, you know? Do you think we are fools, Susan? And Mark, no, I'm not even gonna get started with Mark. I think Mark ought to be in jail. But Susan's the Beast's cheerleader. That's what's so confusing to me. This guy's a terrible person. Why are we cheerleading for him? That's what I'm not comprehending.
Less than 2 weeks later, Susie, he ran off with you. I don't know how your timetable works, Susie. Maybe you're in dog years. You could be in dog years. That would make sense. It's been less than 2 months, baby.
And you know what really pushes me to believe Mama J's side of the story is how graceful she is with the whole situation, you know? She's so forgiving.
But if that apology, if that was genuine, I've already forgiven you. I forgive Mark. I hope you both find happiness and peace. I would hope that you would help convince Mark to get some help for the sake of our children.
She's so, I don't know, just a wonderful person, I feel. And such a sweet, sweet person. For her to be able to forgive all this, I got a few things I can learn from Mama J, because I would have been laying out Legos at their front door. I would not have let these people live in peace. You are better than me, Mama J. You are just a lot better than me. Better than I could ever be. Oh, Lord. Y'all, I would have done everything.
How coincidental is it that I posted a video yesterday saying that you were calling Jarrett evil to her 15-year-old, and then you get on the internet and proceed to say that everyone around her and the people closest to her call her evil?
Oh my goodness. She spoke to Jarrett's children, calling her evil, their mother.
But who's the one around her calling her evil? Because the closest to her, Jarrett's good people to us. Is it his mom? It's his mom, right? I know it's his mom. It's his mom. I'm so sure it's his mom. I do have this from his mom.
I really wish he would see a mental health professional too, in case this isn't just spiritual. I've been praying hard for him. A lot of us have, and he's still struggling. I don't know how else to help him right now. Let me know if they will see him tomorrow. They are exchanging texts apparently with his mom that show that he's not stable.
Yeah, from about 2 years ago when Mark was going through a manic episode and threatening to himself. But I mean, I hear you. You're not going to turn back on the comments because you're protecting your peace, but you're no sissy girl. You don't take anything lying down, except for Jarrett's husband. You take him lying down an awful lot.
Oh! Y'all, this is messy. This is so messy.
I do love, though, how every time you're on here, you're claiming to be the victim and that...
You guys have the evidence and you're gonna come out on top.
Susie, you're not going to come out on top of anything. Well, I mean, I don't know what you and Mark like to do in your free time.
Oh my goodness.
The day you showed up at Jarrett's brother's house and then proceeded to call a welfare check on Jarrett and the kids. Remember, we talked about that the last time. But I know, you don't show up at people's houses. I get it. And Jarrett was a false spouse. Was this guy your false spouse? The one who says you are also mentally unwell?
Darian has got some receipts on Susan. Hello, you're married to Susan Avery? May I ask you why that was your question? Yeah, she met my husband online 3 weeks ago and called herself a Christian marriage counselor. 1 week after meeting online, she went in the truck. He's a truck driver. Together. They were sleeping together. He has mental illness and has abandoned me and our 6 children. It said she was still married, so I wanted to reach out and let you know what was going on. In case you were interested, where your wife's whereabouts. She's in my husband's truck. Sorry to hear that for the children, he says, and all my sympathies go out to you. I'm very sorry that the devil has moved and attacked you in this fashion. We are no longer married. We are divorced.
And the things that you guys have said about me, it can just stop. You know we were married. You do know that. I know you know that because I saw the messages between you guys before he left to go back to work.
So, yeah. You are a homewrecker, Susan. That's what all the evidence points to. You know, the fact that you are a homewrecker. What I find audacious is your fighting role in this conflict. You are a homewrecker, and instead of being the person who was fooled into this relationship, you have become its hardest fighting soldier. That's what is beyond me. That's what I am failing to comprehend. Like, we all gave her the benefit of the doubt. At one point we were like, maybe he's telling her things. Maybe he's lying to her. Maybe he's tricking her. He's fooling her. He's manipulative, etc., etc., etc. But Mama J confirms. Ryder says, I feel pretty sure he's telling Susan a story and she's believing and repeating. She would have no way of knowing anything herself, just whatever he's telling her. We gave her the benefit of the doubt at one point. Mama J goes, nope. She knew the truth. She's helping him lie and scheme. She's helping him hurt her. It was also her handwriting threatening my family. The note. She was the one texting and on the phone with her children, saying the awful things she said, that she's evil. And then she had the audacity to go online and say the people closest to her are calling her
Evil now.
No, they're not. That was you. That was your dirty mouth.
I'm done arguing with the devil.
Just because Mama J is also graceful, is also sweet, is also kind, is also forgiving, doesn't mean we're gonna be the same. And now that this is online, it's all of our business. That's not very nice of you, Susan. Listen, I tried to find Pastor Mark to give him a piece of my mind. I looked for him everywhere.
Mark, the kids need you, Mark. Come back.
I'm not kidding. I looked for him everywhere.
Mark?
And I kept finding the wrong Pastor Mark. None of them. There were so many Pastor Marks. So I got worried. I wouldn't want to give someone a piece of my mind and they end up being innocent. That's like the worst thing that could happen. But in all truth, Mama J, I applaud you. Going through all this, so level-headed, so mature. What a sweet lady, you know? You are a fantastic mother. You're gonna be an incredible mother for these kids. 100%. You know, I wish you nothing but happiness and the best.
Is not a freaking victim. Pretends to be a freaking victim. And then you guys want to come at me like I'm victim shaming. I'm telling you, she's not a victim.
Mama J wants to be a victim so bad, you know, like all of us. We all want to be victims of terrible, terrible things. It's on our top 10 list of things I really want. To be betrayed, to be stranded with 6 kids. My Christmas wish list just got leaked. She says, Mama J says, I'm sure most of us watched her video claiming I'm pretending to be a victim and that she's the real victim. No, my children are. There's also been a lot of questions about our ages. I was 13, Mark was 19 when we met. I got pregnant at 14, gave birth the day after I turned 15. I am not lying about our 6-year age gap. I was born in September 1994. He was born in December 1988. That's not okay. I do have an attorney. I did file for divorce after him and her called my oldest child and admitted to their affair. Remember, she's not a mistress. She's not a homewrecker. These are all lies, right? Well, that lie fell out of her mouth, too, when they called one of the children.
Did you guys have any intimacy during this time that you've been with him or no?
Yes.
Okay, so you committed adultery. He's still legally married. The divorce hasn't happened at all. It hasn't happened yet. It's going through process. So what you just said is that you and my father just committed adultery. That's what you just said.
That's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like. That's what it is. From divorce? Because it hasn't happened yet.
Well, what happens spiritually, we don't always see that in the physical, but your mom is very well aware, no matter what she says to you.
Excuse me, no, I'm not well aware. Thank you for admitting you guys committed adultery. You're not with God. Leave my children alone, you witch.
Well, the phone call you had with her child says otherwise. It says that you did have an affair while he was married. You witch! They had talks about separating, talks about divorcing because she needed him to get professional help, and he kept refusing while he was destroying her. He would tell her, God told him, and she was expected to listen and shut her mouth. The scary bit is the rest of this. He told her God told him that they were having a 7th child, and that she'd be pregnant August, September. That's fucking nuts. Thank God she dodged the bullet here. She really did.
Just because people say things doesn't make them true.
Let's pull out the mirror again. Alright, this is for you, Susan. None of this is a good look, alright? Don't get me started on Mark. There's no Mark on here. Where is Mark? MIA? No, he's got his mouthpiece front and center. His spokesperson. Susan.
I am not his mistress. Just because she called me that, like, why do you guys believe people?
I don't know. I don't know. Why do we believe people? Because they have receipts. Because they have something to back their words with. Susan, we do believe people. We just don't believe you.
She comes on here and acts like she's a Christian.
If she's acting, she's been acting very well, very graceful, very kind, very forgiving. These are Christian values.
You would think that she believes in Jesus, right?
Yeah, the way she's been behaving, for sure.
You think that she really reads that Bible?
Yeah, I do.
Do you really think she's a follower of Christ?
Yeah, acts like it.
Oh, you believe that too?
Yeah, so where is this conversation going?
That's funny.
Is it? Is it really? Nobody's laughing. It's not funny. Why is it funny?
What else do you guys believe about her that she's put out there?
That she's a mother of 6 and that you are the mistress of her cheating husband who decided one day not to want kids anymore after forcing her into the state she's in since she was only 13 when he her. Did I miss anything? Like, you're not even part of the major problem, Susan. You're a very small part of the big problem that is Mark. I don't know why you've put yourself in such a central position of this conflict when you're not. Why are you fighting so hard? You're not the main issue here, Susan. The main issue is Mark, who doesn't want to support his kids. Mark, who decided to run away one day. Mark, who her when she was 13. Mark, who keeps using God to justify abuses he's doing to her. That's the problem. And yet, everywhere I look, I find you in my face. Why? That's what I don't understand. Why are you such an adamant cheerleader for such a bad person? It's crazy. Our story wraps up with Mama J finally getting the support that she deserves. Her kids finally getting their needs met. Is it completely because of her disaster of a ex-husband? No, not really. But the courts have helped, and so has the massive audience that she has gathered online, and helping her deliver the needs through the Amazon wish lists that she had created. So again, it's very nice to see social media being used in such a positive way, to help the single mother of 6 who had been forced into the circumstances that she is in. That's Mama J's story for you. It's, in my opinion, very messy, all right? And potentially worse than Risa Tisa's. Remember Risa Tisa? Goodness. I feel like a lot of Risa Tisa's story was partially her own error, of judgment. Whereas here, it's not her own error of judgment at all. It's the fact that she was manipulated into the situation she is in from a very young age. And that's what makes this so much worse for me, in my opinion. What are your thoughts? Would you have done anything differently from Mama J? I think she handled the situation with such elegance and grace. She didn't come for Susan whatsoever. Her bestie did, Darian, which is so reasonable, honestly, because I feel like I would be the best friend who would do just that. You can't wage this war? I will. Oh yeah, I will. They want to spew shit and spin lies about you? No, they're not. No, they're not, bestie. No, they're not. You think I'm gonna sit here and let that happen? You could ask me not to get involved, and I will. I can't help it, okay? It's partly because I myself am a little bit messy, and I love the drama. I am just not gonna sit here and let people say shit. No, absolutely not. Especially with all these receipts we got. Would you have done anything differently? Share those thoughts down below. Oh, my back. Ah, God. Oh my God, did you hear that? My back cracked so bad. But yeah, all right, guys. I'm gonna go, all right? It's time to get out of here, right? I'm gonna crawl out of the frame now. By the time I crawl out, maybe you should leave. If you don't leave, you might end up seeing something that others might miss, or not. Are you willing to take the gamble to watch me crawl out and potentially see something others might not? Or are you willing to miss the opportunity to see something that others might not see? Find out now. Take the gamble. Decide, because I'm about to start crawling out. Cut. There was nothing.